Good morning. I'm so disappointed that the band always plays these low-key, off-key songs. Alrighty. Good morning. Welcome to the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Tiffany, and I'd like to tell you how this philosophy has changed me. My name is Scott, and I'm going to be your host for a little while. And before we start the service, or I guess technically we are starting, we always like to take a moment and acknowledge the land on which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. So we're going to have a song in a minute, but I wanted to start out a little differently, just a brief 30-second activity that I think will help center everybody. When I go on the road and I'm a speaker, one of the things I learned is I like to call it shut the door before, didn't sound, no. That is not what I was saying. Is shut the door before you open the door. And by that, an error that a lot of speakers make is they get on stage, they come running up, and they haven't taken a break between where they were and where they are. So what I'd like us to do before we get into the singing, and I want you to sing with enthusiasm and feeling, it's certainly one of my favorite songs, just take a deep breath. Get yourself centered, and be grateful for the fact that you are here, and let whatever is out there go away, and welcome Donna to the platform to lead us in the song, One Foot in Front of the Other.
Please stand. Welcome to rehearsal. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead.
Look up ahead.
The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
Maybe I'm scared too.
Maybe I'm scared too.
But here I am.
But here I am.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
So you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. Oh, with love, yeah.
Well, I certainly needed that. You want more of that? There's a rally this coming Saturday at the courthouse at noon. So be there. Okay, let's move on with the business at hand. First of all, welcome Zoomers. Nice to have you here. Welcome to people who are joining us for the first time. And as for people who have been here repeatedly, welcome to you too. So we have an affirmation we start, but I'm going to shake it up as I usually do. The top, we're all going to say together, we are a welcoming community where the vibration, you can read it. We'll say that, and then the second half, I'm in my own little world. It's a nice, peaceful place. We'll say that. If you could read my mind, Gordon Lightfoot, that next. We will say the top part. Then what I'd like you to do for the bottom half is get up, walk to somebody, and just say, I am really glad you are here. And just mean it, because we are. We are glad for every single person that is here, and you need to be welcomed here, because that's what we all are. So now we'll do this. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. And get up and say to somebody, James. What an absolutely lovely feeling of welcoming energy that is. Thank you for everybody. All right, let's see what we have on our agenda for today. We usually kind of follow this, but we'll see what happens. These are the announcements and that moved ahead even before I could say that. Okay, those were the announcements. This is the discovery class. There is a discovery class after today's gathering. If you are interested in becoming a member, or you just want to know more about what the philosophy is, you just like to hang out with some really cool people, Angelica, our minister, will be doing a short class afterwards, no obligation, but if you'd like to know what this is all about, Angelica will certainly give you a couple of facts that you'll like to know. Where? Here. It's going to be in the sanctuary here.
But I noticed that Edward and Amy brought food, so people can go get food and then we'll sit around this big table here.
I think you're underestimating. You'll have to make 2 big tables.
Okay.
Okay, next weekend is the plant sale. And this is a big fundraiser for us, and it's a lot of fun. And Lori has been coordinating that. And Lori's going to come up and give us a little bit of information. I found out the top 5 plants, if you're interested.
Thanks.
I figured I'd just contribute in case you didn't have something.
Good morning, everybody. We're counting down the days now. It's Friday and Saturday is the plant sale. Not much to say at this point, except, everything I've already said before, but there are sign-up sheets in the lobby that I'm not going to be next to after we finish here, because I'm going to be starting to meet with people in the parking lot. I'm going to ask the people if you can hold off on bringing stuff for Twice Nice this week, unless you can reach Brian and have him meet you. Stand up, Brian, just in case they don't know who you are. We just took a bunch of stuff down to the basement this morning to clear it out for the plant sale, and Brian came in and he's like, well, there's a bunch of stuff under the table by the door. And I'm like, oh my God, we just took that down. We took 2 carloads full. So anyway, please only bring stuff unless if you make an appointment with Brian first. And Brian, how do they reach you?
Phone them, 707-496-2014.
Okay, so if any of you have
Repeat that?
707
496
496
2014.
2014.
It'd be easier if they just waited until after the plant sale.
Well, I was told that I shouldn't say that, so. That was my first thought, and I suggested that.
I'm one of the co-chairs, so that is what I said.
The co-chair says, wait a week. So for those of you who have signed up to help bring the tables up today, I'm thinking in the parking lot at about 11:05, 11:10, so. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you, Lori. And remember, the plant sale is April 4th and April 5th. So I'm volunteering for April 4th because I won't be here on April 5th. So whichever day you can be available. And to that point, I don't think there's a slide for it, the men's group that would normally meet this coming Saturday at 3, if I'm correct, is not meeting this Saturday at 3? Right. We are not meeting this Saturday because of the plant sale. Okay, let us move forward. The newsletter is coming. If you're not on the email list, make sure to get on the email list. There's no obligation, of course. You can fill out one of the little cards in the lobby. You can take a little package if you would like. You can give your email address to Angelica, and she'll get you on the mailing list. You get an email every Monday and then a monthly newsletter on top of that telling you everything that's going on. We've got some guest speakers coming up later this month because poor Angelica has to go on a cruise with several other people. I know, you're taking one for the team. And we all appreciate it. It's transatlantic too, isn't it? Yeah, wow, on the Queen Mary. So that's a tough job to do, but someone's got to do it. So because of that, we have some guest speakers. We have, of course, our own Lorna, who I saw just wander in here. There she is, way in the back. And Reverend Lynn Fritz from Reading will be here. So I know we will be getting some excellent speaking, some excellent presentations coming up later this month and the first part of May. Speaking of excellent, oh, no, that's been changed. Okay, that's where the slide slid in. Brave Vulnerable Conversations is a weekly group. We've been having anywhere from 7 to 11 so far. We seem to be growing. It's every Thursday at 10. We just get together in the other room. There's no cost, there's no obligation. We just talk about how we're doing. The world can be a scary, tumultuous place at times, and it's nice to have other people to share that with, to vent a little bit, to get some ideas if that's what you want, to just know you are not alone. Yes, Susan?
People are going to be delivering plants on Thursday.
Okay.
Could you have a class in here?
I don't see why not, yeah. Okay, so normally it meets in there, we'll be meeting in here. And like I said, you can just come, you can check it out, you can come repeatedly. I find it to be really helpful to get rid of a lot of the tension that's going on in the world. And it's every Thursday at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Ari, for taking off the other line that said starts March 6th. Speaking of great speakers, SOAR is the annual International Centers for Spiritual Living Convention, Conference, whatever it might be, meeting. It's up in Banff. Just love that name. Banff, Canada. That will be in August. If you'd like to go, there will be several people from the center who are going. It's what?
If they let us in.
Oh, if they, yeah. Yes, I hear Canada is building a wall and they're going to make us pay for it. Anyway, yes, if Canada lets us in, and I am affirming that they will, that'll be SOAR. Let's see here, next thing. Just as a reminder, whether things are good or things are tough or you just need someone to talk to, the practitioners are here to talk with you at the end of every service. The practitioners who are here today are myself, Edward, Susan, and Michelle sitting over in the throne. Bunny is a practitioner? Well, welcome, Bunny. You will no longer leave this building. Bunny is Bree's sister. So I didn't know you were a practitioner. Well, welcome. Nice to have you here. If you'd like to speak with a practitioner for some support, find out more about the philosophy, just talk. We call it the 5-minute miracle. Miracles are guaranteed. Please find one of us afterwards. Little Pantry needs to be fed, as do we all. We help support our local community with our Little Pantry. If you have food that you can donate, non-perishable, you can put it in the other room, you can put it directly in the pantry, or if you have a lot of it, you can bring it on Monday when Walk and Awe is here between like noon and 4. Okay, and she will divide it up into smaller segments and put it out there. And I think that is it for our announcements. Our theme for the last time this month is Trusting the Compass Within. And we are going to go into a song and then followed by a moment of peace with Susan and Jackson.
Be still, in quiet and in peace. We know the joy and wonder of release. In this sacred space, all troubles disappear. In this secret place, there is no doubt or fear. Be still and know that faith has made us whole. Renewed are we in spirit and in soul. The light of truth within shines forth that we may see. Perfect peace is ours eternally.
Thank you, Donna. And looking for inspiration today, I went to one of my favorite authors, Mark Nepo, and this is from The Endless Practice, and I basically just opened the book, and this is what came. So I invite you to just get comfortable in your chairs. If it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes as I read these words from Mark Nepo. There'll be a minute of silence, and then Jackson will lead us into the opening prayer. In the face of this gritty, mysterious, and ever-changing dynamic we call being alive, it's nothing short of heroic that we are asked to choose life and living again and again. Not just to put a good face on things while we're here, but because saying yes to life is how the worm inches its way through earth. It's how salmon leap their way upstream. It's how flowers grow out of stone. The word for such flowers, saxifrage, from the Latin, means stone breaker. Saying yes is the way the flower of the soul breaks through the stone of the world.
Softly and tenderly, Spirit is calling, calling for you and for me. See on the portal the new day is dawning.
And the truth is, a new dawning occurs every time we take a breath and center ourselves, knowing that we are one with the one life. We are supported, guided, and led to what is ours to do when it is ours to do it by being open, by saying yes. By saying yes, we open ourselves to greater and greater experiences, expansion, compassion, and love. Yes to life. Yes to all there is. And I know that even in times of chaos, everything is working towards the highest and the best. And as we center ourselves in that knowing, I know that everything unfolds right and perfectly, not only with ourselves, but with our communities, with our families, with the world. And I know that each one of us stands in the truth of wanting, working towards, praying for, and knowing that we are going to create a world that works for all. I simply let it be, and so it is.
Come home, come home. You are singing, come home. Lovingly, tenderly, Spirit is calling, calling, beloved, come home.
And now we're going to say yes to calling our beloved Reverend Angelica to the podium.
Thank you, Jackson. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see your faces this morning. You might notice that our altar for peace around the world has gained a new member. This Buddha was donated for the moment by Catherine Fabat. It is a Buddha from the Myanmar area. So I would like everyone to look at that Buddha for a moment and send it love to send to all the people that live in that area that just experienced the 7.7 earthquake. Thank you. You might think, some of you might be thinking, what's sending our blessings to a statue going to do? Well, you know what? It's done unto you as you believe. And I believe that we can use absolutely anything to transfer energy. And what I believe is that, as you hear me say every single week, everything is divine energy. There is nothing that is not God, including that statue. And that statue, I believe, because I asked you to do this, that it has the energy, it has the power to send the energy to where it comes from. Can you imagine a 7.7 earthquake? Since I've been here, the highest one we've had, or the strongest one we've had, is 4 point something. Since I've been here, I said. When? When was that? That was a 7 point? Oh, wow, for some reason, I didn't remember that.
It was pretty minimal for a second.
Yeah, oh, that was the rolling one, right? Yeah, I remember now, okay. All right, but, well, one that takes down buildings, et cetera, then, let's just say that.
We had another 7 point something in what, 91?
Oh,
Yeah, I was in an unreinforced building in Old Town.
oh,
Yep, 1991.
okay. So this morning, at the end of our month of, for the last talk of our month, I want to talk about our heart's destination. And so what we know is that life is a journey, and it's either, with every step that we take, it's either aligned with our soul's purpose or influenced by outer experiences. So our mind wants to seek certainty and logic and safety, while our heart whispers deep truths. Sometimes we hear them, sometimes we just hear a little flutter of them, sometimes we don't hear them at all. The challenge is learning to discern the difference. How do we recognize where our heart is truly leading us? How do we really recognize? I can remember years thinking about, I worked as a data processing manager for a company in Glendale, down south, for a really long time. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being the boss. I enjoyed, taking the company from a hand peg, bookkeeping system to a big old huge computer with all the little monitors on the salesman's desks and everything. I mean, I liked all that stuff, but I never felt like I was achieving whatever my purpose was, and I couldn't figure out what my purpose was. So I remember reading in a book by Emma Curtis Hopkins a phrase that says, "There is good for me and I ought to have it." And I started using that as an affirmation. There is good for me and I ought to have it. And what I knew was, as I was affirming that, I discovered, and I've told you before, Terry Cole Whitaker on TV, and then that she was speaking at a church in Los Angeles that I went to, and I looked at that church when I got there to see her, and oh my God, it was a Church of Religious Science, which was right around the corner from me in Glendale. So my soul, I remember walking into that Glendale church. It was a round sort of church. It had a beautiful atrium in the middle of the lobby. And I walked into that place and sat down, and I felt like I was home. I actually felt like I was where I was supposed to be. So what I know is that our hearts are always leading us to our greater good, but sometimes we don't listen. If I had said I remember going to my parents' house not long after finding that church. They lived in La Cañada. Going to my dad's house, not my parents', my dad's house, and at dinner I made this announcement: I'm going to be a minister. And you should have seen the expression on his face. He could not believe that this hippie girl, who he knew did things that he didn't totally believe in, etc. And, he couldn't believe that that was what I had chosen. And he even told me, "But you used to want to be a veterinary." And I said, "Yeah, I did." And, he says, "Well, you know what? I'll pay for your college if you want to go." I mean, anything that'll let me be a minister, right? And I said to him, "Oh my God, that'll be 4 years. By that time I'll be some age," and I don't remember what it was at the time, but, and then I'll be starting off on my own. I'm starting now. I found something that I really resonate with. And he really had a hard time with that. But I had to trust my heart. I had to trust moving forward in faith. And that was one of the things that Terry Cole Whitaker talked a lot about, was moving forward in faith. So I want to talk to you then about this thing called our heart as a divine compass. It's not just about emotions, it's the seat of deep spiritual knowing. I believe that our heart already knows these things that we're learning here, for instance. I mean, how many of you walked in and after a couple weeks went, oh, wow, this is like home, right? No matter where you were here or any other church, it felt like you were home. Our hearts knew. And you know, in many different wisdom traditions, the heart is where we experience the divine directly. It's where we experience the divine directly. So how do you tell if you're following your heart or your ego? And when I was thinking about that, I realized that the heart's guidance brings a sense of peace even in times of uncertainty, whereas the ego seeks validation, security, or control. So I tell you this almost every week as well, that there's spiritual practices that you can do to help yourself create stillness, to hear the voice within, you know, whether it's meditation or journaling or spiritual mind treatment or just sitting in silence. You know, that's one of the things that I have trouble with sometimes. I was sitting out on my deck looking at my redwoods that are surrounding my backyard and feeling, you know, the wind going through, and boy, is it going through this morning. But, you know, just being still. And I was just staring out into my yard. And one of my cats comes creeping along and decides that it's going to sit on this little table beside me. And it immediately goes into. And so then I'm trying to figure out, what is it staring at, you know? What does it see? And it came to me once again that there are so many universes in this one universe that we're living in that it's just amazing. Just amazing. So what I know is, back to desires and a calling, a spiritual calling. So desires come from our personality or our conditioning. Callings are soul-directed. They may challenge us, and I put may there, I should have put, they will challenge you, but they always lead to expansion and greater love. So a calling often comes with a sense of deep peace, as I said before, even if it feels uncertain or challenging. A desire may be exciting, but it fades if it's not rooted in something different. So we want to follow our hearts. So I want you to, for a moment, just think of a time when you felt a really deep knowing. Close your eyes and think of a time when you felt a really deep knowing about something. Maybe it was a decision that you made that wasn't, you know, didn't feel right on paper, but felt right in your heart. And see if you can touch into that feeling. That feeling of absolute rightness. Take a breath and just imagine if you could live in that place all the time. What if you could live in that place of following your heart all the time? So I'm going to bring this into, or expand it out into thinking not only just about our personal journeys and as they unfold step by step, but, you know, the process or the journey of a nation does this as well. It unfolds step by step. So right now it seems like we're in a time of great division, uncertainty, unrest, etc. But just as the heart guides us personally, what I know is that there is a deeper wisdom guiding us collectively. Somebody said to me the other day that maybe what's happening is that we're waking up. And I said that last week, that it's the great awakening. And then this person I was talking to said, well, you know, you don't want to be woke. So I had to look up that. I had to look up that word. It apparently comes from the African American traditions, and I'm not exactly sure what it meant, but it wasn't anything derogatory. You know, it meant something more powerful. And so I thought, I want to be woke. I want to be moving in the destination of my heart, both personally and planetarily, knowing greater love, greater justice, greater wholeness, greater peace, all these things that sometimes we think aren't available, but they are. So then I had to look at what's my role as a light worker. And I think that being in this teaching, we all are potential light workers. Maybe we haven't accepted it yet, but the truth is, this is why you're here, is to be a light worker. So light workers are not here to get lost in the turmoil, but to be spiritual anchors in a storm. You know, I keep saying, oh, I keep going down the rabbit hole. And my friend, my prayer partner, Reverend Sidney Lehman Steen, who's the minister now of the North Hollywood Church, said, yeah, you live above ground. We don't live in holes. We live above ground. And I thought, wow, you're right. I have to stop diving down that rabbit hole. So another thing light workers do is they discern not just their own path, but the greater path of love unfolding. The greater path of love unfolding. Now, how do you do that? To me, what you do is you not only pray for those things, or treat, whatever you want to say, for those things that you want in your life, but you also consciously know the truth for our country and for our planet. And I want to mention something. One of the things that people do in their treatments is say, we are going to be peaceful. And I want you to listen to that. We are going to be peaceful. It's not here yet. You're right. We are peaceful. Remember, when we do spiritual mind treatments, we're doing it as if the thing that we want is right here, right now, in the present moment. So how do we discern this greater path of love unfolding as a country? And for me, the answer that came to me was that we do it by responding with wisdom instead of fear. With wisdom instead of fear. With compassion instead of judgment. With faith instead of despair. You know, we're going on this cruise. Well, you'll get to go with me when I come back and talk to you about it. Anyway, Burl and I are going on this cruise, and so is Corinne. And one of the things I thought about was, gosh, coming back into the United States, they're doing all this weird stuff. You know, they can take your phone and plug it into some machine and look at things that you've had on your phone. And I thought, boy, there's a lot of texts I got to get rid of before I leave. Oh, there must be a way to get rid of them. Maybe I'll just restart it to factory reset or something. I don't know.
Just leave it home.
Oh, no, I can't go anywhere without my phone. It's a camera, and it's... Yeah. And everything. Anyway, but where was I when I was thinking that, though? In fear, right. So we want to respond with wisdom instead of fear. with love instead of fear. And this is what I realized, that once we discern the direction that we're supposed to go in, we got to move. We got to take one step in front of the other, right? 1 foot in front of the other. Because it's not just about, the heart's wisdom isn't just about how we feel, it's about how we act. For the last 3 days, I have not watched the news. And I have seen stuff come up on my phone or on email, but I'm trying to avoid that stuff. And I suddenly realized yesterday, wow, I've been feeling a lot more peaceful lately. Not letting myself get down that rabbit hole. So you have to ask yourself every single morning when you're doing your spiritual work or when you get up, one of the things I loved about Louise Hay was that she talked about doing her spiritual work in the morning, and you know how she did it? She was laying in bed going, "Thank you, pillow, for giving me a good night. Thank you, bed, for giving me a good night. Thank you, sheets. Thank you, blankets." I mean, she just was consciously grateful for everything. And that to her was her morning spiritual work. So I do a lot more things. But anyway, so you can ask yourself, what's a small step I can take today towards my heart's destination? Well, the first thing I would say is acknowledge that your heart has a destination. It could be as simple as you could be retired and done with work and all of that. It could be something as, your heart says, let's go play in the garden. Or let's pick up crayons and color. Or let's watch a great movie. Or whatever it is that the heart knows what is good for us at the moment. This is the place that spirit resides. Now, in truth, spirit resides in every cell and atom of your body because there isn't an entity that is separate that we call spirit. It's all spirit. The divine energy is absolutely everywhere. But it will also behave according to how we want it to behave. So think about this. What is one small step I can take today toward my heart's destination? And what I know is that as we trust the wisdom of our hearts, Spirit guides our every step. It guides our every step. And so let's hold together a vision of a world awakened in love. And know that you're always walking in the light. You're always walking in the light. So your homework this week is to ask yourself, where am I predominantly residing? In my heart or in my mind? Use the mind. It wants to be used. Use it to live in your heart, to come from your heart. And so let's treat. Let's pray. How grateful I am to be able to speak this word into divine law and know that the law says yes. That's this divine energy's only word, only response. Yes, yes, yes. And so I now declare that I'm ready and willing to walk in grace, to walk in love, to allow myself to experience the freedom of hearing my heart's calling. And I know that as I honor that, my heart's calling, it guides me in places that are absolutely amazing, wonderful places, whether it be just for a moment or for a longer period of time. And so I celebrate being able to get in touch with that powerful presence, that heart behind my physical heart that is the divine energy of love, unconditional love that is absolutely everywhere. And so I choose to feel it, I choose to experience it, I choose to express it. Love. And I give love everywhere, everywhere I am. I let go of living in fear, and I step out knowing that all there is spirit. All there is this wonderful divine energy of unconditional love. And if we choose it to, it protects us, it guides us, it guards us, it leads us down paths that are wonderful to experience. So with a grateful heart, I acknowledge that my heart is now guiding my mind. And it is a good thing, a really good thing. So I release these words knowing that they are already so. I walk in spirit. I walk as spirit. And it is good, and so it is. So Donna is our guest musician this morning, our guest. You get to be our guest this morning.
Yes. I'll have some tea, please.
Yes, definitely.
Do they do for Donna? My dear, let me set this up for you.
Thank you. How about a hand for Anna? She's our sound queen. Yeah! Makes us look good on YouTube. That's a test. Check two. This is a Kathy Mateo song. I know you know the name of it. Come from the Heart. Now here is the one thing I keep forgetting. Everything seems to be falling apart. Life as in love, you know I need to remember. There's such a thing as trying too hard. God save you. I don't need money, you love. I can never get burned. If you want it to work. like you don't need the money. Love, 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 like you'll never get hurt. You gotta dance, dance, like nobody's watching. It's gotta come from the heart if you want it to work. You got to sing like you don't need the money. Love, like you'll never get hurt. Why not dance, 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 like nobody's watching? It's gotta come from the heart if you want it to work. You gotta sing like you don't need the money. Why not love like you'll never get hurt? Dance like nobody's watching. You gotta come from the heart if you want it to work. It's gotta come from the heart if you want it to work.
Thank you, Donna. Let me sit here, my dear. It's not the best situation, but what we can do right now.
It is the right and perfect situation. Turning it on would make it even more right and more perfect. Okay. Thank you, Donna. If you've ever thought of singing somewhere, I think you probably have an apt for it. You could give it a try. All right, we are going to share our gifts. And before we share our gifts, we're going to have an affirmation that goes on the screen, which we will all repeat together. If you are at home, a Zoomer, you forget to give a payment, you would like to do one later, we will also have the address where you can mail a check or do it electronically. So together we say, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. I know I kept you playing a long time, but there was no way I was cutting that off. Absolutely none. All righty, as we accept these gifts, we are grateful for the knowledge that everything is energy, including the love and abundance that is put forth in these gifts. And since this energy will go out into our community, our state, our country, and the world, we are even more grateful knowing it is creating great good wherever it goes. We release these words into the law of mind, knowing they are already happening, and all we have to do is open our arms and embrace that belief. And with gratitude, we say together, and so it is. Thank you. Okay, we're in a moment going to have somebody read the community statement of inclusion. You get bonus points if you haven't done it before, or if you're new at it. Extra spiritual value, if you will. But before we do that, since we have a little bit of extra time, one of the tenets on which our philosophy is based is what's called demonstrations. And a demonstration is basically summed up. You receive an idea, it's a creative thought, you focus on it, you believe it, you affirm it, say it in the present tense, and lo and behold, it manifests. And we call that a demonstration. It can be something as small as the proverbial, I found a parking lot in front of or parking space in front of where I wanted, or I found my life relationship, however it may be. So, do you have a demonstration? If so, we'd like to get a couple people. Lorna, you're first.
This is partially my own demonstration, but hugely my husband, Daniel Borich's demonstration. He was diagnosed with MS in the early 2000s, and he decided to treat for it, to pray for it, to know that it was healing. And in 2018, he decided to know that it did not exist. In 2018, he had medical tests that showed brain lesions and spinal lesions that had been slowly but still progressing. He just had a MRI to take a look at those lesions, and they have absolutely not progressed at all since 2018.
Tough one to follow, but if anybody else has a demonstration, Lori, come on up, please.
Thanks. A couple of you know this demonstration, but I've been told you better tell it. So here I am. As you know, I contemplated for at least 10 months whether or not to do the plant sale chair position. And in January, I have to pay, every quarter I have to pay federal and state estimated taxes for my business. And I put it on this credit card, and I was like, I feel like I've been paying this credit card forever. It just, I pay $400 a month, and it just kind of stays there. It's not going away. So I had made the decision to do the plant sale, and then I paid my taxes. And I thought, you know what, I really want to stop using this credit card because the interest is obviously so high that I'm just paying interest every month. And so I received notification that I was receiving extra money from one of my insurance companies that I bill, which is Medi-Cal, for almost the exact same amount as what I owed on that credit card. And I was like, I'm not going to believe this till I actually see the money in the bank, because it's just a notification. But the money came, that credit card's paid off, and all I had to say was, gee, I just want to do this thing, and it happened.
We have time for one more if anybody else would like to do a demonstration. One of the things one learns as a presenter is don't get in the way of a crowd when there's food in the other room, so let's move forward. Who would like to read our community statement of inclusion, and then Donna will lead us in the peace song. Do we have anybody who would like to read this? Come on, it's fun. It's exciting. Oh, okay. We're going to have Walk and Hawk come up. She raised her hand first. There you be.
Good morning. Oops. Good morning. I love this. I'm really proud that we do this. It really makes me feel good and our community. So, the community statement of inclusion. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so we may grow together, and understand that oneness is not sameness. So together, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Let's please stand and join us. Circle around the room. I want to remind everybody also, if you're at all interested, Representative Jared Huffman will be holding a town hall today from 1 to 2:30 at the Adorney Center.
And it's sold out, so catch it on Access or Zoom.
Yeah, accesshumboldt.net. Ready? Yeah.